October 17, 2024. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Had this rally, this very, very choppy stair-step sell-off, kind of like a sawtooth pattern, rallied, consolidated, and sold off again. So the volume wasn't very high today, and I wasn't able to take any trades because I didn't really see any setups. And there were only maybe 4 setups that I marked, and they were all almost trades. In other words, they were pretty close, but not there. Today, surprisingly, there was like smooth movement, but the setups just weren't there. Unlike other days where it's choppy and just going zigzag, zigzag, this kind of did that as well, but it was very continuously kind of smooth movement, which made it kind of frustrating to trade because there wasn't really anything that presented itself that was obvious or a good setup. There was only one piece of economic data that came out at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here. As you can tell, it didn't really do anything. It was the core retail sales and unemployment claims. And other than that, it was a very slow, quiet day, similar to yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, talk about the trades. So pre-market, you get this very hopeful rally that moves up, right? So you got this move that keeps pushing up, and it opens, and it has a sell-off as a break of this green up channel, pushes up, comes back down. It looks like it makes 2 legs. There's a first entry long pullback, second entry long failure. But here in real time, I didn't really think this was a worthwhile trade to take a second entry long failure because it looks like it's coming into support right here. So it's hard to gauge, especially when it's this early in the day. It's only 2 minutes after the open. So it could easily be in a trading range and bounce in here for a while and then come back and try to test the high of this green up channel. It's only tried once, pull back, and it could be starting a second one. But if you did take a short, it worked out really well because you probably could have had a runner on this. Unfortunately, there was no other setup that I could see to enter this. There was a second entry short here, but it's a little far from the EMA. It's for 1 attempt down after the break of the green down channel. First attempt, second attempt. Had this touched the EMA, then I think I would have felt a little more confident. So you're sitting there and you're seeing this a second entry short. Maybe there's going to be a higher low, and you don't really get a higher low. And it reverses. It pushes, kind of keeps moving around. It moves on this very gradual green up channel, which doesn't really present that many trades, although it is riding the EMA and coming up on this green up channel. There is no clean setup here because these candles are, for the most part, if you look at it, it's almost side by side. There's a small bullish bias, but not enough to jump in on a trade because this could stop you out because it does tick, some candles do tick below the previous, then it rallies back up. So it's just something, just stay out of this zone for now till something cleaner shows up. It creates a new high, say first entry long pullback, second entry long, then technically you have a third entry long. But I also saw this as a new low, first entry short, pullback, potential second entry short. So when I saw this, I was thinking it's a move on this orange down channel, broke, tested once. Now it could test a second time, but seeing this signal bar, I'm not ready to take a short. Then this candle forms, and definitely the trade it's too late now. But if this was a better signal bar, more bearish, because it's nice that's right under the EMA, then I think I would have had a trade ready. But the signal bar is just too neutral, even though it's bullish. I wanted a lower high confirmation. After seeing this, I was hoping to get a lower high somewhere in the next couple candles, but you don't get that. It just kind of flushes down. So this is a almost trade because there's no good key or indication to you to take a trade or get a trade ready here, at least for my chart. The prices move down, moves on this yellow down channel, pushes up, breaks, it gets choppy here. There's a second entry long here, but it's not a very good signal bar. Plus, it's below the EMA, so you'd be running right into the EMA when you see this candle. Plus, when you see this, you're not even thinking going long just yet. It's a terrible looking signal bar. By the time you get this one, you get a confirmed second entry long. It just doesn't even look that good because there's too much tail up here. So it pushes up, it gets very, very whippy in the small scale, just kind of like choppy, choppy, choppy. Moves up on this green up channel and it flushes down. This larger red channel doesn't exist yet. I did have a trend line drawn from here to here, and I think I may have tried to create a matching parallel line up here, but this red one isn't something I used as any clear indication. I knew that there was where I kind of got an inkling that there was some kind of bearish bias, but it's very choppy. So I don't have enough touches on the highs and the lows to trust that this is in a channel just yet. So it hits the top, sells off, break of this yellow down channel, tested once, tested twice. This is a potential second entry short, but this isn't a very good signal bar. Plus, it already pushed way above the EMA, so no trade here, even though it's a confirmed second entry short. So you best look for like a lower high confirmation below the EMA. And you don't get that until about right here. Right here, this is like too far from the EMA now. Plus, when you see this, and you see this form push up and back down, you're at a localized low here. So you don't know it's going to end up pushing this far down. So you could have taken it on the engulfing, but this one tick up and down, I like, except it's too far from the EMA. That's the only thing you have going for the trade. And of course, in hindsight, you look like it would have been a great trade, except you don't know that in real time. You're just watching this and it flushes down. Prices then continue moving. You get some second entries here, both long and short, but it's not very clean. You do have a second entry short here, but I don't like how these candles are just too close side by side. It's a little congested for my taste. You do have a new low here as a first entry short. So localized new low, double bottom, first entry short, pullback. On the same candle here, you have a tick up, flush down. So on the same candle, you have the signal and trigger bar, and it creates your second entry short. I called it an almost trade because it didn't touch the EMA. You're already pushing to a localized support. I thought the support might have been here, but it could have also been here. And you're going to be selling into this low, which is dicey. So I call it an almost trade. Better wait on this for a lower high, but you don't get a lower high until about right here again. And by the time you get to here, it's too far from the EMA. It's already pressing to the lows again. It's just not a good setup. Reverses, pushes up. So at this point, I do trust this potential red down channel now because I had one touch, two touch, three touch. So I can use it as a resistance as a key entry point. Below, I don't really trust it as support because the bias is clearly going selling off. So I'm looking more to short than I am to long. So although this is a potential third touch confirmation coming up, there is confirmed three touches on the resistance side. So if it comes back, touches this the fourth time, and the setup's there, I think it's worth a sell. So you do have this green up channel break, test the new high, pushes up, but now breaks through. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a failed breakout and push back into the red down channel, but it doesn't, just kind of keeps creeping up. I find what I think it might be this yellow up channel as a potential channel that's moving, prices are moving in, comes along, and then this creates a lower high. So this lower high again is another, I guess, an almost trade. So you have a localized new low here. I said it's a first entry short, pull back, second entry short, and then you have a lower high here. Depends on, it's confirmed lower high if the next candle pushes below. So here you're thinking, is there a trade setup? And it does confirm the second entry short if it pushes down. Now I do like it moved one tick above and then flushed down, but I'm a little weary now that this is already pushing to what I think is this yellow up channel. So I'm thinking there's potential support, potential bounce point off this EMA. So that makes it kind of negates the trade. If this had pushed below this signal bar, I may have considered it, but I think I would have been also hesitant because if it pushed below this green signal bar, it makes it even closer to this EMA and even closer to the potential bounce off the support. So an almost trade, nothing really enticing there, but then it pushes down and through. So you could say it's a first entry long, second entry long, potential second entry long failure, but this is, you see this and it's confirmed second entry long failure, but it's doji, pushing right into this localized support. Just don't like it. It pushes down, chops around, moves up on this orange up channel, hits this consolidation area. Nothing particularly enticing here. It starts moving down. You have a first entry long. You do have a second entry long here. But when you see this, like, what is the context? It's hard to say. You did have a push and tested the high. So here it broke, tested the high here, came back down, tested the high a second time. Am I in a trading range? I actually didn't have this trading range drawn yet, so this blue one doesn't exist yet, so I can't really use it as any key indication. You do have a lower high here, and it just looks a little noisy. Pushes up, flushes down. Now I'm thinking there might be a trading range, so I draw a support channel here, and it comes back up. Then I think I am in a trading range now. So it looks like it's going from bottom to top to bottom to top. I'm looking for a setup. Technically, you have a new low, first entry short. You have a second entry short here if you started the count here, but I count this as a localized low. Even if you did start the count here, first entry short, second entry short, this is a bad signal bar. It is getting rejection off the EMA, but it's just not a good signal bar. Even if you're just playing range rules, nothing here is telling you to go short yet. Then here, you would think, okay, well, it looks like it's clearly a bearish bar, but it has too much tail here. It closed right at the middle, so I'm not thinking of going short either. And then it pushes down and flushes out. So there's just nothing really here, not even a missed opportunity. It just didn't look clean. It pushes down. Technically, you have a failed second entry long here. It's like a first entry long, second entry long, but you could also see it as all part of this one big leg down. Plus, other than the rejection off this, it didn't touch the EMA. It just doesn't look very clean. And if you did try to take a low after the close of this candle, confirm failed second entry long, there's not much room before you hit this potential support area. So it's just overall not a, doesn't feel to me very safe. Prices move, bounce, breaks the green down channel, test the low. Technically, you have a new high, first entry long pullback. You have a second entry long here. So you could say that the downtrend has played out. Maybe you have a second entry long here, but other than this blue support that I noticed, I don't really have that much going for it. I'd rather wait for a higher low and it pushes down. You don't really get a higher low, but you have 3 touches, 1 touch, 2 touch, if you actually had this a little bit higher. Right here, maybe it's a triple test. The first entry long pullback. Here, you do have a second entry long. It's kind of, I was wondering whether this is a possible trade or an almost trade. I just ended up calling it an almost trade because it is a new high, first entry long, second entry long with a good signal bar, possible triple test. But I noticed that it was making lower lows every time. It made a low, tested, made another low, tested, made another low here. So when I see this in real time, I'm thinking if I go long here, EMA is starting to act as resistance. Am I going to get stopped out right here? Or not stopped out? Clearly there's 2 points, so you do have enough for a quick scalp. But just the way the day has been going, which is slow, candles are taking a little while to close. I am not that confident because it's making lower lows and lower highs every time. So if it makes another lower high, which would be lower than this guy, where is that going to occur? Is it going to occur maybe right here before I even get my 1 point scalp? Or maybe at the EMA? I'm not sure. Then when it flushes up and you have a confirmed second entry long, the trade feels like it's already too late. The scalp would have already been made. So to chase it now feels dicey. Plus this candle is telling you that it had trouble breaking through the EMA. So that's just telling me, okay, just stay away. Pushes and then pushes up. You do have a new low, first entry short, second entry short failure. This isn't a really convincing signal bar to go long on a failed second entry short. Then when this one closes, feels like I'm already too close to a localized resistance. So I'm looking for a higher low now. And you don't get a higher low. It just kind of chops around, gets noisy, pushes down. I do see a new high here, localized new high. First entry long, pullback, second entry long. It made a double bottom, pushed up, decent signal bar, potential multiple tests coming off this bottom of the range. But it just feels like it's late in the day now because it's like right here is 12:31. There's only about 30 minutes left of trading. And just today has been super uneventful. And just like yesterday, I didn't take any trades. I thought, why push my luck here trying to reach for a trade that it looks iffy still. So it is a break of this orange down channel, tested the new low. It could be reversing back up, bounce off the bottom of the trading range, but it's still following the idea that it's creating lower lows. This low is lower than this one, and then this one is just slightly, this one here, these double lows, just slightly lower than this. So it is kind of like creeping down. So I'm not that excited about this trade. It looks like if you did enter, you'd enter here, and then you'd be sitting here wondering, this one probably for me would have gotten the scalp, but it just, just the follow through isn't very strong. So glad I didn't take the trade because if you did wait for a bigger profit target, you probably would have gotten stopped out on this big red bar here. And prices move down and just kind of goes into the close. So overall, this whole week, certainly just like yesterday, trading has been very slow. Price action is just not there. So as I said, I think it's probably the elections coming up that everybody is a little more reserved, more conservative, sitting on the sidelines, just kind of want to see, I guess, who will become the president. And I think after that, volatility might pick up some more. I looked at the economic data that's coming out for tomorrow, and there's really nothing coming out. So we could have another repeat of something like this. Not exactly this setup or this pattern, but it could just be very slow, very grinding, kind of like a snooze day. So hopefully that was helpful.